Good afternoon and welcome to See You Next Tuesday. We're joined today by the lovely Cathy. She is released a book on Amazon called Stop Self-Sabotaging in 7 Days. And we're just going to hear a little bit about how you got here. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Wow, how can I say? I'm 58, almost 59 actually. I've been married twice, divorced twice. I have a 34-year-old son. And yeah, I've been for the last 10 years, I suppose I've been in and out of short-term relationships, 1 year, 2 years. And the last one finished a couple of years ago. And I was sort of, after that, I sort of started to look at myself quite a lot, started to look at what had contributed to so many failed relationships. I mean, my poor mother's given up. She's she keeps telling me the one for me is out there somewhere, and I'm not so sure about that. So I just started doing a lot of inward looking and reading up on what might have attributed to all these relationships not going. I mean, I make it sound really bad, but I'm a big believer in looking at yourself and finding out whether you can improve, basically.
Yeah. So self-growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask you what kind of reading material it was? Like, what was it you was reading, if you don't mind me asking?
I was reading anything and everything. So I would get books online. I started following some transformational coaches on Instagram and YouTube. I did quite a lot of work with a girl called Sharu Izadi, who does a lot. She does a lot of coaching on physical transformation and sort of how to lose weight and how to stop self-sabotaging, essentially. But she has her own methods. And yeah, I mean, I'm a bit like a sponge. Anything, if I could get my hands on it. I read a brilliant book called Daughters of Divorce, which is written by a mother and daughter, where they interviewed loads of women whose parents had divorced at various different points of their life. And that's when I sort of realised that actually I could trace a lot of my issues back to my parents divorcing when I was 16.
So you managed to put your finger on something that you felt attributed to.
Yeah.
Right, got
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the divorce did impact you?
So at the time, I didn't think it had impacted me at all, other than the fact that I really didn't want to talk to my dad, because it was basically my dad who went off with another woman. My mother had been aware that this had been going on for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My brother and I, the first thing we knew was the day my dad came in and sat us down and said he was leaving.
Wow.
So actually for both of us, that was a real shock. I was 16, my brother was 14.
Can I pause you there? Do you think your mum did that deliberate?
She gave him an ultimatum and said, I want you out and you need to go and tell children.
But also, do you think that she took her, if she'd known for that amount of time, do you think she gave you both the grace of getting to an age where you could emotionally articulate what was going on?
Yes.
And have provided you with a dad for the crucial years, more or less?
I think there was some of that, although my dad was in the Navy, so we were used to him not being there for long periods of time anyway, because he used to go off on the ships. And I mean, sometimes he'd go away for 6 months. And I mean, this has all contributed to my anxious attachment style as well, because, he would come home and be, at home Disney dad for 6 weeks, and then he'd go off again. Yeah. And sometimes he'd go away for a week, sometimes it'd be for 4, 5, 6 months. We never knew when he was. And so we had that sort of constant push-pull, which I think for a daughter, your father-daughter relationship is quite strong. So anyway, so it was a really big, massive shock for both of us. And I didn't think at the time it had affected me. I was like, my mum and I were very close, and my mum was in bits. And I knew that I had to be strong for my mum. So I concentrated on doing that. And, I went off to university, and I made sure that, I was always around for my mum. I always went home at holiday time. And it was very much girls against the world. I was like, come on mum, we can do this. Let's she wanted to decorate, let's paint the bedroom, let's do this, who needs a man. We were like that. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was very promiscuous at university. I slept around loads, which I now realise was, I wanted love, basically. I wanted a hug. I wanted somebody to cuddle me and tell me everything was going to be all right. You can't get that, but you can get sex. So that's what I ended up doing. And that was not really very helpful. It always just used to leave me feeling worse, really, because it was fine at the time, and then the following day you just feel empty and a bit sad. So I did that, and then I met my first husband when I was 21, fell pregnant, and had my son. And that was a very short marriage. And so it's only really the last year, I suppose, that I've started looking back and saying, okay, so let's go back to that divorce. How did that actually impact what went on? And it's basically
the very first
when my mum and when my parents divorced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important to notice. I know we have actually spoken about it, but how much things can impact us from childhood as adults that we dull down, as it's not doesn't seem as a big trauma. Like lots of people are getting divorced now, it's like a common thing. But actually how much emotional impact that still can have, and we can carry.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a common thing when we were younger, right?
No,
and there was a lot of stigma attached to that also, wasn't there?
Yeah,
right?
There was.
And a lot of shame. People were like embarrassed of being divorced or for things back then, weren't they?
Still. I mean, it's, even now, I mean, it's still, I mean, okay, it's better now, but, and I think, the thing is, when you're younger, you're not looking at yourself in that way. You've got to get to a point in your life where things are a bit quieter. You've had your kids, maybe you're divorced, everything has sort of settled down a bit, and you suddenly find yourself in a position, you think, right, well, hang on a minute, where am I? What's happened?
Let's take a look.
Exactly. Yeah. You sort of, and for me, that has been the last couple of years. But I mean, I think people arrive at that point at different times in their life, don't they?
Yeah.
You've obviously got to it a lot sooner, which is amazing, because I think if you can do it, the earlier you can do it, the more of your life you've got where you've got the answers and you're working on yourself. So
Oh yeah, mine was out of crisis, not out of taking stock.
Yeah.
But we all get there in our own way, don't we?
That's it.
So what's going on with you now? What's you up to?
So now I am. I run my own business.
Yeah.
And I'm in the 26th year of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that what you studied at university?
No, it's totally not.
No, I'm really interested to find out that version of you. But then I wonder, what did you study at university?
So at university, I did fashion and textile design. It was actually a teaching degree, so I'm qualified to teach, but I never taught. I never went into teaching. And when I finished uni, I came up to London and I started to work for a public relations company, Stephanie Churchill PR. And Stephanie Churchill was the best friend of a woman called Lynn Franks, and Lynn Franks was who Ab Fab was based on.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And it was exactly like
what they portray. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was awful. I mean, it was absolutely awful. It was totally not me. It was full of women who were like living on thin air and had hollow stomachs, and I was just like, it freaked me out. Everybody was all about image, and it was just
shallow. Yeah.
It was so shallow, shallow. I can remember the first day I joined, they had a model casting for at one of the fashion shows, and all these painfully, because it was all heroin chic when I was.
Remember, yes, I remember. Yeah, I
mean,
remember.
Girls, they look like if you puffed them, they fall over. And I was absolutely appalled, and somebody being told they were too big. I'm like, too big.
Yeah, they had like little legs like hula hoops. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it wasn't for me, and I only lasted a couple of years doing that. And then when my son was born, I needed something to do from home, and I'd always sewed because my mum taught me to sew. My mum had a sewing machine, and Mum said to me, why don't you make curtains? She said, you can make curtains. She said, see if any of your friends want curtains. So I just started making curtains with friends. And it sort of went from there, really. Yeah.
And now you're 26 years in business.
26 years in business, I employ 12 people.
I love that. Your mum sounds like our kind of woman, to be honest. And the amount of people we have on here, no matter the age range, the mums, especially mums, I'm like, the mums.
My mum's I think fourth in a row. Like, she's 83 and she's got a Canadian toy boy boyfriend.
I love her. I love her. See,
I do.
Yeah, I love
she
her.
spends a year going backwards and forwards to Vancouver. So she's about to go out there for Christmas.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
just a different breed, aren't they?
What we all aspire to, isn't it?
You know.
She's
that is incredible. So regarding that now, you're obviously to be successful in business is one thing. How do you view, like now, you said you've done a lot of inner work, you've kind of got to that. How did you feel that you were self-sabotaging, and like where did you get to that point where you're like, oh my God, like this self-sabotage is something that I think that I need to share with the world and I need to articulate that into a book?
Yeah.
What was that? Tell me more about that.
So for me, my issues have always been surrounding my weight and my appearance. And
which is madness, because can I just interrupt? I'm sat here thinking how beautiful you are. And do you know what I mean? I'm looking at you and your skin and your hair and just the way you present yourself. And actually, I feel quite the opposite. Like, I can't imagine you struggling. I've got to be truthful.
Well, thank you.
Well, I was drawn to you in the nail shop, getting my nails done. She was just sitting next to me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I know, and it is a crazy thing, and it's the one thing, I don't know why for me it was my weight and my appearance. I don't know why that is. That's the one thing I can't, I've been through everything and I can't work out. And I mean, it may just be that was how the kind of the trauma of my parents' divorce manifested itself for me. I don't know. But for me, that's always been my Achilles heel. I put on a lot of weight when I first, when I had my son, after I'd had him, couldn't shift it. And you know, if I look back over the years, the decades are sort of, I can trace it by my weight. You know, I was bigger in that year and then I got slim again and then it went up again and down again. And so my whole life has been a battle with my weight and my appearance. And self-sabotaging in that I would do really well. I would, go to Weight Watchers or something for 3 months and I'd lose a lot of weight. And then something would trigger me or I'd have a really bad week. And suddenly then it would all start going back on again. And it was just this constant toing and froing of my weight going up and down.
Did you kind of give yourself permission to sort of let that? I wonder at the time where your mindset was.
Oh God,
I
don't know.
To do that well and then suddenly decide, you know what, I've had that happen, so therefore, this is okay for me to let, like you say, it is self-sabotage.
Yeah.
But do you think that self-sabotage is self-soothing sometimes?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, completely. Completely. And the other thing for me is that I'm an all or nothing girl. So if I'm following a plan and I'm on it 150%.
Yeah.
If one thing happens that doesn't we all know this. We all know this. One thing happens. So it can be something simple like I go into the office in the morning and I've got all my meal preps with me and I go in the kitchen and somebody's brought in a cake because it's somebody's birthday. And there's a great big fat cake there with icing and cherries. And I know at that point that I'm not going to be able to resist having that piece of cake. And I have the piece of cake and then it's the classic. I'm like, well, I've had a piece of cake now. So actually I might as well go home and have Chinese and drink a bottle of wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once I've done that, then it's another week, 10 days where I think, I've got to get back on track. I beat myself up about that. Then my mental health goes down. So you're in this constant spiral of up and down, up and down. And I've done that for 30 bloody years.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that.
Most women can.
Yeah, they can. Because you almost get addicted to the failure as well.
Yeah.
It's weird how that behaviour, it's like you say, it's like a mist comes down, you've got no control over it. And instead of just thinking, do you know what? It's just a bad day. tomorrow's a new day. You know what? You've lost yourself. You like you say, like,
Yeah.
I'm the same, and I think, you know, fuck it. It's just one more day. And then one more day
Yeah.
turns into 2 more
Yeah.
weeks. And 2 more weeks
Yeah.
turns into 2 more months.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're like, I went. And I can hear myself in my head going, can you just get a grip, Wendy? Because you fucking know this is not okay. Like, what are you doing? And you are going to really, like, you're your own worst enemy, because, like, you're going to be fuming about the fact that you could have just changed that one day, but instead you've let it spiral into 2 months.
Exactly.
And mine's not with food. Mine's with behaviour. And I have this thing with behaviour, my own behaviour, regarding parenting.
Right.
And I do it. So I'm laughing because you're talking about, I can relate, but in a way that I back. It's the same behaviour, but mine's regarding parenting.
Yeah.
It's not sort of eating and drinking stuff. You know, and it's, I get it, and you let it go, and then you think, well, where was the consistency in that? Like, and then you feel 10 times worse because before you know it, and you give yourself that talking to, and you get a grip. It's
exactly
all the hard work's undone, innit?
Yeah.
And I think, and that's partly what led me to put the book together, was I just thought, actually, exactly what you've just said. You know, mine is food, yours is behaviour, yours would be something else. But the majority of women who get to their sort of 40s and 50s self-sabotage in some form or another. And I think a lot of people aren't even aware that they're doing it. You know, we're the lucky ones in that we've identified that we do it. We know that we do it. And if you've identified it, you're on the path to doing something about it, aren't you? You can do that. But I think for a lot of people, if you don't know that that's what you've been doing, so I wanted to do something which people could read, think, oh, okay, actually, that's me. I've been doing that.
Yeah.
That is me. Because it is incredibly common, actually. And how isn't that awful? I mean, how much of our lives have we wasted doing that, beating ourselves up for something which is totally unnecessary?
Yeah, 100%.
Massively. I've had this week, even while I was late today, again, right in the thick of what you're saying about the way the children are behaving, what I allow, what I make acceptable, then it gets the better of me, then it spirals, and then I'm getting a phone call like, we're here, and it's like, and I know that, and it's not, and it's like, the point is, you get to a point where you feel so so defeated by it that you and so accepting of it. And I'm just stood there taking that phone call from you, thinking, and as I pick that phone up, I'm not even saying hello to her. I'm thinking to myself, why do you not like yourself enough to actually just get yourself there on fucking time, tell her to fuck off, right? And actually be where you should be. Why do you need your children? Why do you need to be this version of yourself for these children that misbehave towards you so appallingly all the time, but yet you will ruin everything that's important to you around you in order to meet their needs just in case they don't like you? And I'm stood in Tesco, on the phone to her going, why don't you fucking like yourself, Wendy? Why don't you like yourself? Why don't you like yourself enough to be there on time? Because now you've got the shame of not only being late, but you've now got to own what you've just done. And come in here and admit it, because this is the safe space and the true space. And what you're talking about, I do all the time as a parent.
And I think
horrifically as a parent, all the time.
everybody is doing it. And I think it's getting worse. I think because there's so much comparison now, and it's so easy to compare now. You're not just walking down the street thinking, oh, she looks nicer than me, or you know, it's just everywhere, isn't it? And I think even the young people, I think that self-sabotage and learning that at an early age, I would have loved to know that at an early age, because I have made some compromising decisions based on self-sabotage. I know.
The irony is, this is exactly what I've been going through this morning with their child. And I'm almost trying to stop her or help her or support her at the cost of me. And then I think, how the hell do you expect to help her when actually you are completely and utterly like almost showing her how not to do it. How not to do it.
You've got to start
model it. It's
not modelling shit. You literally are modelling the one thing you're telling her. You're saying it in one breath and then behaving a different way in the other.
It's just said and done though as well. We are human beings. We fuck up. You know, and it's about learning from those fuck ups, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think understanding that, and I mean, this sounds really corny, but you know, you've got to love yourself. You have absolutely got to love yourself, and it's only really in the last year that I've done that. I can honestly say it's taken until I'm 58 before I actually like myself. I look in the mirror and I think, actually, you're doing pretty bloody good in life. You know, you look good, you feel good, you're physically fit, you run a company. It's taken this many years to do that. You know, it's very difficult when you've got kids. You know, you're trying to resolve all that. Plus, you've got other stuff going on. You know, I'm in a position where I live on my own. I've got a cat. That's it. So actually, I can take the time to do the work, but it must be really difficult when you've got the kids and you're trying to juggle it all as well. That's a hard gig because
it's a hard gig, but but not. It's like the things that you do that you love. But my problem is that it's. I don't know why I keep pulling back into this vacuum, because it's like there's loads of things opening up, possibilities, and I'm somebody who I'm quite good at juggling a lot, but yet I seem to like getting stuck here. I seem to like getting stuck with the kids sort of not so much holding me back, but it's like I need to get to grips with why I do this behaviour. Why this behaviour just constantly rears its head. With like not being this parent that's like this mum that's not good enough. I don't even know where this story comes from. The same as what we were just talking about. I have done and worked with some of the best people to try and identify. I don't even know where this story comes from. I don't even know where this story I tell myself comes from.
Maybe it's not about being a good parent. Maybe it's just about being good enough. Because I know that your trigger is that, but maybe it is something alternative. Anyway, I've just totally gone off path then, haven't I? So I was just like, but we'll have a conversation about that later, though.
Yeah, it is really interesting because and yeah, I've not spoken to anybody where behaviour is the result of the self-sabotage. But yeah, I mean, it's exactly the same. So just a different,
well, I guess
it manifests itself in a different way.
All this behaviour, eating is that's some form of behaviour, isn't it? Drink, drugs, different behaviours. So absolutely. It's just in a different style. So you love yourself now, is where we were at.
Okay, so maybe love myself is a bit strong, but I can actually look in the mirror now and be pleased with what I see, and I know that actually men find me very attractive. And that, you know, I no longer have to hide myself, which is what I've spent 40 years doing.
That's really good. And you had a little smirk on your face, like men find you very attractive.
Yes. So part of my journey of self-discovery this year was that I decided that I needed to put myself out there and feel better about myself. So I joined a swinging website. And I had some photographs done. I did them myself, actually, of me in some lingerie, and put them on the website.
Can I just say, what is a swinging website for people that won't have known about this?
So it's a website where you can you put up a profile. It's pretty much like a dating website, really. You put up a profile. Obviously, I was a single woman, so I put up a profile of a single woman. However, unlike a dating website, the expectation on a swinging website is that the result of the meet will probably end in sex. Doesn't have to. It's not inevitable. And if you meet up with somebody and you don't like the look of each other, then you don't do anything. You always have a social with the person beforehand, have a drink or a coffee, see if you like them. And if you do, you can either go off at that point and do whatever you want to do, or you make a date to meet at a later point. And for me, this was a massive step because first of all, I was having to put pictures of myself on there. And in fact, I'll tell you a funny story. The first meet that I did on Fab, a guy messaged me and said, you know, he really liked the photos that I put up. But he said, I'm actually a professional photographer. He said, would you be interested in meeting me? He said, absolutely, totally unconditional. He said, I will take some professional photographs of you, which you can use on their website. And then he said, if you want to play, as it's called, afterwards, we can. But if you don't, he said, it's absolutely not conditional. So the very first thing I did, and I can't even begin to tell you how nervous this made me feel. The thought of having sex with somebody I've never met before, not a problem. The thought of that person taking photographs of me, oh my God. I literally felt physically sick. I was beside myself with nerves. But I arranged to meet him. He booked a hotel up in London. I toddled at them on a Friday afternoon with my little suitcase full of naughty underwear and stuff. Got all dolled up. Met him in the hotel bar. He was very nice. Went up to the room. I had a very large glass of wine. In fact, I think I had 2 very large glasses of wine. And he took some very, very nice photographs of me, which I subsequently put on the website. I was thrilled to bits with the pictures. And we did have a play afterwards, and it was very nice. And it was such a good boost for my self-confidence, because the fact that I'd A, been brave enough to go through with it, and B, that he'd taken these photographs, which guys look at now and go, oh my God, you look so hot. And I'm just like, is this me? So yeah, that was my first ever meet. So it's been very good for me, that website. I mean, I don't...
Christ, that is like what makes me die. Getting out your comfort zone is like having a photograph taken.
Yeah.
Whereas me getting the whole fucking thing
Well, the art of my photograph taken, but the thought of having sex with a stranger,
the whole lot. I'm a complete opposite. The whole fucking lot. The whole lot.
We've got one each. You got both.
Yeah, I've got both. You not got me to do either.
No,
I'm sorry. You just wouldn't have got me to do either.
Well, I mean, most women who I've spoken to about it have said, "Oh my God, there's no way I would have done that," and I was so nervous.
Yeah,
I really was very nervous. But it was the photography, because it's scrutiny. It's the fact that somebody is studying me, and I have a very good friend in France, Andy, who I love to bits, and he's a very keen photographer, and he always has a camera with him, and quite often when we go on holiday together, and I turn around and he's taking a picture of me. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And isn't that crazy? Because he's my friend, and he wants to take a picture of me, but I hate being scrutinised still. That's still a real issue for me.
See, I feel like that I would feel more that about sex. So I would think, oh my God, have I done it right? That I would scrutinise myself in that area.
Yeah.
So it's strange how we're
all so different.
Why are you looking at me? You look at me like, of course you're good at sex, Lose.
Yeah, and I'm just but you've probably got 3 tremendous shanks in this room, actually. But it's like, do you know what I'm trying to say? But just, because I just know we are as women, actually. Do you know what I mean? And women like us are always great fucks. So they're like, but that's not my point. Was like, yeah, I just think like now I'm at that, like, yeah, I didn't even think about the just like that never even enters my head. Do you know that's what's crazy? Do you know what I mean? We're never in my head, and it's the same as like, I think for me, it's a trust thing.
Yeah.
So like, if I trust someone and I was into someone, the trouble is with me, I'm such an antisocial arsehole. Like, I just don't bother spending the time with anybody enough to even get to the point of like, do you know what I was trying to say to you? Like, that it just, I take my hat off to you. Because at this moment in time, if I wasn't with somebody, I would be that spinster in the parish. I think, fuck it, I can not be asked to be nice.
You would have one note. I'd
have a Catherine, because I was just like, no fucks given at this point. Whereas you, the fact that you, and I don't know if that's quite right, so what you said, you're still managing children, whereas for you, you've got your life back, you can concentrate just on you can explore just you. And I love the fact that you've put that to work for you, and that you've gone on this massive self-discovery, and you've gone inwards, and that what you've brought out of it is something that you're like almost saying to the world, like, I get this behaviour, let me help you with it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I admire you so much for that, and your bravery, your courage and your bravery. I think, you don't find that in people, especially women. Right, and women that have had a bad run. So actually for you to actually think, no, you know fucking what? I'm actually grabbing this. And I'm actually going to do something with it for me. I find really inspiring. And like really courageous. And especially with the fact that you're not just putting yourself out there, you've really put yourself out there.
I know you're right here.
No. But also like but what I'm trying to say is like, that's well out of your comfort zone. And it's proven to be life-changing for you. And you're actually modelling that.
It has.
So like you've not just written the book, you're like, here I am, I've walked my talk, this is what's happened for me. That's massive in my humble opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really nice that we were talking earlier about sex and how, you know, I've talked about getting sex therapist on for I don't know how long, because we don't talk about it enough.
No.
And yet most of us do it a few times a week or maybe every day, but yet it doesn't really get talked about. Vibrators, sex toys, what you like, what you don't like. It's like a real taboo subject. So fair kudos for you coming on here and being the first to really talk about sex.
But then that's good
it's,
that
it's brave. I
yeah,
think.
but also it's the fact that, like, you know, the fact that it's a thing that women enjoy. Do you know what I mean? That and that, you know, why has it got, like, women are like, oh, you have to.
And we should enjoy it. You said about that earlier, didn't you? About women, like, just
what are you doing? What are you having sex for if you don't enjoy it?
Well, quite. I mean,
some people feel they have to, don't they?
Some people feel what? They have to have sex.
Well, yeah, like it's like a duty bound. I've got a partner. He wants sex.
Part of the contract. I mean, that's what you know.
What fucking contract? Not my contract.
So we were saying this earlier, weren't we? That you know, I mean, I'm older than you guys, but I can remember, you know, my mum would kind of allude to sex. You know, it would be referred to slightly, but it was never a topic we discussed openly. Yeah. Absolutely not. I mean, I learned most of what I knew about sex at the time from Cosmopolitan magazine, which was, you know, talking about orgasms and, you know, how to
turn a man on, actually.
Yeah.
Things like, and how to be like, it was always about how you became
empowering the woman, and it was so. I mean, that was my sort of early sex education. But I think so many women get to midlife, and I mean midlife can be anything from sort of 40 onwards, can't it? Where you know, a lot of women have come out of a marriage, so they're divorced. Your kids have gone off and done other things, and you sort of you've lost your way. You know, I see so many women who sort of say, well, you know, I've lost myself in the process. You know, I've done the kids, I've raised the kids, you know, I've kept the husband happy, and now he's buggered off with the secretary. You know, what is left for me? And I just want to say to people, actually, you know what? Everything, absolutely everything. You can start again.
Anything you want,
absolutely start again. I'm so excited about the next 20 years of my life, and I'm 58, and I'm just I can't wait. I just want to get on with it. I'm so excited about what's out there and the possibilities and where I might go, where I might end up, and I think everybody should have that optimism. You know, I mean, I just think that's an awful thing that anybody in their midlife should think it's over. It's not. It can be just the beginning.
What you spoke about the swingers community. Tell us a bit about that.
So really, really lovely bunch of people actually. I mean, very, very respectful always. I've never come across anybody who was not polite, or who was lovely to talk to. The men, I mean, I think people have a very old-fashioned view of swingers, which is that basically, you know, you all go and meet up and chuck your keys in a bowl, and everybody's off with everybody else. That is not what it's like. You know, everybody has their likes and dislikes, and you know, I've been into clubs and looked around and not found anybody there that I wanted to play with. And likewise, you know, people might not have approached me, but you still have a really good fun night. You talk to people, you're all there for the same reason. They're just a great community of really fun people. And, you know, you realise very quickly that everybody comes in all different shapes and sizes. You know, I was very nervous the first time I went about dressing down and you know, walking around in lingerie. But I mean, oh my goodness me.
Is that what you have to do?
You don't have to, but most clubs...
this is in clubs?
Yes, in clubs. So most clubs have what's called a dress down policy. So at a certain point in the evening, usually 10 or 11 o'clock, all the women go and dress down. And so you dress...
That's me out.
And the men go down to boxer shorts or whatever, or towels. And everybody walks around like that. You don't have to, but usually by that time it's all getting a bit fruity and people are disappearing off and doing bits and pieces.
Into corners? Or
there's usually rooms. There's always private rooms. You don't have to, I mean, most of them have a playroom which is open. And, you know, you can play there if you want, or you can go off to private rooms if you don't want to play in public. Or you don't have to play at all. Yeah. Most of them have big jacuzzis and hot tubs. You can sit in the hot tub all night if you want. Just have a glass of wine. You know, it's as much a social thing as it is a sex thing, really. But I've met some really, really lovely people. Yeah, so I think it's not something I regret doing at all. Yeah.
I love it because I was saying earlier that I visited a local one with a friend, and we went to like a disco night just to like sort of see really what goes on, and I went with an ex-partner. But it just fascinates me, and I do think it's so empowering that women are having these real open, honest conversations about sex and their sexual need, like what is my need for me, and I just think we need to talk more about it.
Yeah, we do, because everybody has kinks, you know. I mean, well, not everybody, but you know,
everybody has kinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, I've discovered some things about me which I didn't really know I was into, and you think, yeah, I mean, that's how amazing is that? I would never have known that. I would, because I think I'm a big believer in you should try everything at least once, maybe probably twice actually, just to make sure. But you know. Go at least once, and then see it. If you don't like it, fine. But then at least you've done it, you've tried it.
Yeah.
So, in your terms of now, what's going on for you in terms of everything, really?
So, relationship-wise, I'm not with a steady partner. I have 2 or 3 partners who I see fairly regularly, who come over and we have a very nice time. But I'm not with a partner in a romantic sense. I would like to meet somebody, because for me that's a very important part of life, is being with somebody to love and be loved. But that's fine, and I think that will probably come along, because I think I'm in the right headspace for it now, and I think I'm also meeting people who are also in the right kind of space for it. So that's exciting. I've got my book, and the book will be coming out on Amazon in the next couple of weeks. So that's really exciting. The launch of the book.
Just in time for New Year,
Just in time for all the New Year, new
By the time this is out, it'll be out.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go and buy it right now.
Yes, please.
Go and do it.
And give it an amazing 5-star review. So yeah, and I really hope that goes well, and I'm already thinking about what I can do as the second one in that series.
Love it.
I've got a few possible ideas for that. And yeah, I mean, the rest of it is basically just I'm continuing to transform myself physically. So I go to the gym, I weightlifting is my thing. So I'm losing weight, I'm getting fitter. I might next year look at entering a bodybuilding bikini competition.
Love that.
I've got a long way to go before I get there, but I love a goal. I do like a goal, and I think for me that would be the ultimate transformation, would be to go on stage in a bikini with muscles. I just think that's
a huge goal.
Huge goal.
I know a bit about all of this. So I love that.
I might set myself that goal for next year.
Where do you train? Like, do you train with somebody for that? Then?
So I train. Well, I have an online coach called Babs, who's in, and she does a weekly program for me, and I send her photos every week and send her my nutrition.
So is that something you've discovered about yourself that you like?
No, I mean, I've weightlifted for 20 years on and off.
Nice.
You know, generally when I was going through feeling good about myself, a good period, then I would train. But yeah, I've really got back into it lately, and I love it.
It's good for the mind, isn't it? It's good for the mind.
Really good for the mind.
Yeah.
And the gym's a great place to meet people.
But we're gonna get you. We're gonna get an invite, I hope, to when you're doing your bikini.
We would have been.
No,
we would have been.
Cheering you on.
That's a bit.
Get it right slow, bikini on.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I would. I think I might do that. I think that's what I need, is a new goal.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about while we're here? Put you on the spot.
What else? No, I mean, I've covered. I mean, I've just thought of something else actually. So one of the things I did when I first moved to Teeston, it was the winter and it was really cold and my relationship had finished, and I just thought, I sat home in the evenings and thought, I need to do something here. The gas bills were getting higher and higher and higher, and I thought I need to earn some extra cash. So I signed up to become a night flirt. And then night flirt is basically telephone sex.
Oh, wow.
So night flirt is a Canadian.
Do you know how many times I've been told in my voice to do this phone lines? No, but I could not be bothered.
I tell you what, it's a bloody good money spinner.
No way.
Yeah, night flirt is Canadian, and it's all done very safely. So they don't have your number; they're phoning in through a main line. But you put a profile up of yourself. I made a lot of money in a very short space of time.
I'm signing up. Where's my phone? You know what? I'm thinking tonight now.
Is that what on earth do you talk about?
Well, so I have a very, very good imagination.
Yeah,
and I also know quite a lot about the sex scene, the specific sexual dynamic called hot wifing, which is where men like to share their wives or partners with other men and either watch or join in. And hot wifing is a big thing for a lot of guys. Because it's obviously quite hard to find a woman that is prepared to do that. So, but I had some experience of this. And so my profile was all based around the hot wifing. And these guys were funny. I mean, I had 2 or 3 guys who said they were bankers in New York. I mean, they would be on the phone to me for an hour and a half at a time. And I'd just basically talk about what we were doing and where we were going and what the scenarios were. And all the time you're being paid by the minute in dollars. Yeah, it was brilliant. Anyway, it was the main thing it taught me.
I was so
Lucy's
I'd kill the man who was like, stop fighting! It's like
the main thing it taught me was how many kinks there are out there, because hot wifing is it's definitely a kink. But it's fairly tame compared to some of them.
What hot wifing is?
Hot wifing is.
It's tame compared to your wife is somebody else. Okay.
It's tame compared to things like vor as in carnivore. So one guy wanted me to pretend he was a jelly baby, and he wanted me to describe eating him from the feet up.
Okay.
As a jelly baby.
Do that, yeah.
As a jelly baby.
He was a jelly baby.
Love that.
Now, I don't know if he was getting off on that sexually, but I'm being paid by the minute. So I'd
rather.
How long did it take you to eat a jelly baby?
Quite a long time. At least 10 minutes. Like so many.
Yeah, every single bit of you, yeah.
And then there's another one called Giantess, where they want you to so you as a woman are a massive giant woman, big enough that you could put them in a jar and hold them up and look at them, and that is a real sexual kink for a lot of guys. Giantess, yeah. So there's all sorts of
Where have I fucking been?
Where
the fuck have I been? So I don't know none of this.
Oh my god, I'd much rather do that. Oh yeah, put that in a jar and eat a jelly bean than I would probably talking about actual sex.
Yeah. No, the actual sex thing that's just easy. And I mean, it's bonkers because he would say, hi, honey, describe what you're wearing, and I'd say, oh, I've got on, really lovely matching lingerie, stockings and suspenders, blah, 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 blah. I'm sat in bed in Miss Scuzzy Marks and Spencer's pajamas. I mean, it just...
I love that.
Yeah, as long as you sound convincing.
And he wants you to put him in a jar and describe him.
Well, one of them did. Yeah, I mean, but it was fun. I did it for about 3 months. It was quite tricky because it was Canadian. Obviously, the time difference, and because I do such a long commute, I have to go to bed really early because I get up ridiculously early in the morning. And so after about 3 months, I just thought, you know what, I can't do this because I could only really log on for 3 hours a night, and I just thought, actually, no, I've got other things to do. But it was a really good, fun experience, and I just think it was just one of those. It was just another thing that sort of got me out there and got me a bit more into the world.
Yeah, got that. I love that. I love that. That's I mean, like when you think, actually, when you even now, Because most people, like even in relationships, like even with people that have been in marriages, can't articulate what they like in bed, what they like about sex, what they want you to do. They can't describe it, or even like you say, if they say to you, you know, tell me what you like, everyone just like the amount of people that you know that I'm not doing that, or do you know what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah.
So like even like that's massive. Like when you're exploring yourself, but I suppose women never even see exploring themselves in a sexual way, do they?
No, it's still very much, and I mean the whole knife thing, you know, it's still very much there for the gratification of the men.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'll be honest. There were two guys that used to speak to me at least 2 or 3 times a week, and I used to get off on that. They were. The scenarios that we concocted between us were very hot. So I mean, I was getting something from that as well. A lot of them were just downright bloody weird, and I was very relieved when I put the phone down at the end. Although you didn't have to talk to anybody that they had very strict rules about what you could and couldn't talk about. And if anybody started getting funny, you could ring off. But you know, just some guys just sounds a bit creepy. But no, there were 2 or 3 that I used to enjoy talking to. So I was getting something out of it as well. Plus, I was the dollars were rolling in. So you know, I was kind of using it for my. But yes, you're right. It's that whole thing of this is about me doing it for me. This is what's it's about me now. And it's never been my question with my partners always in the past was, am I good enough for them? Now it's, are they good enough for me?
I like, I mean, that's good. That's great. That is. And like you say, it's because you've now taken the time to learn about you and what you like in that scenario. And also, isn't it what I find most amazing about all the things that you've said? Half of it's got nothing to do with the sex. You've actually used the sex to actually learn to like, learn to like yourself as it was, or to realise your value or your worth, or fall in love with yourself is what I'm trying to is what I mean to say. And that's the most out there thing you could possibly do for a woman. Is to go through that avenue. So I think, I mean, that is commendable bravery in my honest opinion. But I think that's great that you've taken that avenue to, and obviously the one thing that most women would shy away from. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's fantastic.
Oh, wow. So thank you for joining us. And I feel like lots of people are going to get a lot from this.
Good.
And
I really hope
let's hope it keeps those conversations going, those women's needs getting met, and lots of happy vaginas out there. That's what we applaud.
Yeah, that's what we applaud. And also just the fact that it's we don't talk enough about the things like this, you know, like the self-sabotage. And actually, if we, you know, I think that's a huge conversation starter. Definitely one that you should get the book. And, you know, I definitely am going to go and have a look at that, because I have the worst self-sabotaging behaviour on the planet when my children are concerned, I'm afraid. And I'll fully own that. I need to not just fully own it, I need to change it. You know what I mean? And if you've got something that you can follow that's going to call you out on that, I'm all about that. All about that. So looking forward to the release of your book. So I definitely will be jumping on that.
So go and buy it now on Amazon, and we will all see you next Tuesday.